Records show REI's frustration with Portland officials ahead of planned closure. Anytime you've got a store the magnitude of REI in a city like Portland, where REI is, it should be second nature for that store to be there, and they're in the process of pulling out, you're going to have back and forth between city officials, namely the mayor. And in this podcast, we're going to kind of peel back some of the layers of what that looked like. What does it take for a store to feel so uncomfortable that they're like, yeah, even though this is where we should be selling goods to this community. Yeah, we can't do it. We can't do it. And so we get to see a little bit of that back and forth. Let's get into that. Here we go. So less than an hour before REI made public its plans to close its Pearl District store, the outdoor retail giant gave a courtesy notice to Mayor Ted Wheeler's office, saying that operating a store within the city limits appeared untenable. That's a nice way of saying, holy crap, your city is rife with shoplifting, criminal activity, drugs. We can no longer safely do our business here. We can no longer safely operate within the confines of your city. We must bid you adieu and go. So Cameron Janes, REI's chief commercial officer, wrote that the company did not believe a store in the city of Portland will be possible in the near term. This is what REI is saying. We do not believe a store in the city of Portland will be a possibility in the near term, because they're indicating, hey, it's unsafe. You get so much stuff walking out the front door shoplifting, and it's unsafe. You know, not only for the people coming to buy goods there, customers, but again, employees, management, anybody in the food chain of all of the different vendors bringing goods to the store, everybody in that chain. The REI is basically saying, no can do. We got to go. It's not you. It's, wait a minute. It is you. It is you, City of Portland. It acknowledged the mayor's citywide priority for community safety and initiatives to address crime, homelessness, and more, but said the company hadn't seen substantial progress. You mean the 90-day reset, the 90 days to reset, that didn't work? Safer PDX summer didn't work? None of those things we saw progress on? Yeah. So the company hadn't seen substantial progress to give us the confidence to invest in another long-term lease. Okay. So one long-term lease down, so the current lease was expiring. And so they need to be able to commit to another one. If they don't see things going in the right direction, even if they don't think it's terrible now, but the trend is such moving forward, big company like REI, they've got options. They can go to other cities. Other cities will say, you betcha, we'd love to have you. Come on into our city. Do what you need to do. Let us make you comfortable. How can we help you feel comfortable in our city? That's the message that Portland was not giving REI. The terse message and months of preceding emails that the Oregonian Oregon Live obtained through a public records request offer a window into REI's frustration over the city's response to its concerns. Even as city officials said that they were moving expeditiously to keep the store where it was. Here's the thing. What can city officials do? I mean, literally, what can they do? Can they send the police out there just to monitor the store continuously? Well, no, because we know that the Nike store in Portland already requested that. And Portland mayor had to say very publicly, no can do. We're short on cops. It's a no-go, guys. Sorry. So, what can they expeditiously do to keep the store where it was? To me, nothing. And you'll see some of the things that they were recommending that REI do. But when it comes down to a city just not being safe, kind of like Chicago, you've got the Chicago Mercantile Market CEO basically saying, yeah, you're going to have a lot more businesses leave if you can't get a handle on criminal activity. We know who's doing the criminal activity. We know who's behind it. Now go out there and arrest them and throw them in jail. And that's what a lot of these CEOs are saying. And yet the ability to actually enact that, so many of these police departments and Portland And Portland is notoriously low on cops to the point where, shoplifting, you're not going to say that it's low priority, but as far as priority goes, when you've got a city that has had, a couple of years of record levels of shootings, and now you got record levels of ODs going on, shoplifting, organized retail theft, the list just goes on, crime, criminal activity in general has just risen because you got all these drugs in these communities, and those drugs have to be purchased somehow. So, there's really nothing when it's gotten this bad that a community leader such as a mayor can say that's going to turn the tide at all, right? Because we saw what happened with Safer Summer PDX. Nothing. Things got worse. Those are campaigns so that they can tell people, hey, we're doing something. We're at least trying this. And you're like, okay, at least they're not doing, like those big traffic cones to slow down the flow of traffic through neighborhoods where gangbangers were just running around shooting people. And we had that, a year and a half ago, something like that. The big thing was, well, we put out the traffic barrels and that really slowed down the shootings. Like, no, it didn't. And not at all. You guys are just lying. So REI cited safety concerns and an increase in crime and theft among its reasons to close its flagship Portland store in early 2024. In its public announcement, the outdoor and recreation retail said its Portland store had its highest number of break-ins and thefts in 2 decades. 20 years. So is it shocking that they're leaving? Absolutely not. What's probably shocking is that it took them this long to make this decision. And it probably came down to, okay, we need to re-up this lease. If we're going to keep going down this road in Portland, we need to re-up this lease. Do we want to do that? And they looked at the data and they said, well, based on the data in hand, this is not a forward moving decision for us. We're going to opt out of being in Portland. And so that's what they're doing. As REI went public with its decision, city leaders sprang into action, records show. And by sprang into action, not against crime, not against drugs, but against, in just a sheer reaction to a major store, yet another major store leaving Portland. This came just right on the back of Walmart leaving, and all of these other stores that have just said, no can do, not in Portland. We're out of here. We got to go. We'll see you in the burbs. But in Portland proper, we're out of here. So emails show that Andrew Fitzpatrick, Mayor Wheeler's economic development director, that's got to be a rough gig. Economic development director. What city? Portland. Oh, geez. Good luck there. All right. Scrambled to set up a meeting between REI and the mayor. You're going to scramble. You're going to try and hold your ship together, right? Along with the Portland Business Alliance and the City Economic Development Agency, Prosper Portland. Okay. And they did this to exhaust all possible options and how the city could support the company to stay in Portland. This is ongoing in most major cities right now, this type of deal, because you've got a lot of businesses that are saying, we're out, we're done. We don't want to do business here anymore. Too dangerous, too much shoplifting, too much theft, too much shrinkage. Yeah, you go down that whole long list. Why would they stay? Because Portland's so pretty? Well, it is. And that's why it's so crazy. The outdoor climate in Portland is epic for an REI, right? It's epic. I mean, you got Mount Hood right there. You got Mount St. Helens not far off. You got Rainier. You got the ocean. You've got waterways. You've got all kinds of little mountains to climb. You got the ocean. The list just goes on. Portland is one of those locations where people move to specifically for the outdoor lifestyle. And now you're taking away probably the number one outdoor retail store that would support this kind of lifestyle. I mean, think about the biking to be done in Portland. Well, not on a bike from REI because they're leaving. In response, Janes agreed to meet with city leaders, but warned that the likelihood of staying in our current location in downtown Portland is essentially zero. Tell us how you really feel. Are you saying there's a chance? You're saying essentially zero. Essentially zero. So, almost zero, but not quite. Is that what we're saying? Probably, right? So if somebody made them just an absolutely outrageous offer, like, okay, so we're going to set up a tank on each corner of your storefront. You're going to have armed guards. You're going to have, the state of the art security. Would you stay? Well, those tanks and armed guards, are they going to be able to physically stop the shoplifters, physically stop the criminal activity going on the grounds? Probably not, right? I mean, you can't confront everything because then you just have a war zone, and nobody likes to go shopping for a canoe in a war zone, do they? No. So essentially zero. Janes added that REI would only be willing to engage with the city as long as the discussions were about longer-term ideas and opportunities for bringing back REI to Portland versus solving for maintaining our presence in our current location. Okay, so what they're saying is, hey, we out of here. We're gone. But you know what? We're not against reconciliation. We're not against, moving together as a team down the road. But right now, we're gone. We're done. We're out of here. But however, we will have a discussion with you, Mr. Portland City, about what it would take for us to come back down the road. Like, maybe cleaning up the city a little bit, maybe getting rid of some of the homelessness, maybe getting rid of some of the drugs, maybe reducing that, shoplifting factor just a scooch. I mean, I'm not saying you got to eradicate it, but you also can't have people crashing their effing cars into the front door of Portland's REI and then not expect management to go, oh, geez, that's not good. Maybe we shouldn't renew our lease. You know what I mean? I mean, some of this stuff is it's common sense. And so I think leadership in Portland in REI, I can't blame them at all. Not one even little bit. The real question is how many other companies size and stature of REI are also going to follow. Just, hey, this isn't working out. We're done. We're out of here. Since its announcement last month, REI may have softened its stance on Portland. Well, they know they're out of there, right? It's like the relationship gets a little bit better right at the very tail end, because both parties know, okay, you're gone. I'm staying, but you're going. Okay, we can get along here, for just another week or two. And in this case, it's through the end of 2024. A company spokesperson repeated the company's previous public statement that downtown Portland is not an option, but that REI is currently assessing what a long-term solution might be for the region. Where are they going to go? Physically, where are they going to go? Maybe a little Beaverton action? I don't know. I mean, right? Or is there already an REI there? I don't know my REIs in Portland really well, or Oregon in general. Cody Bauman, spokesperson for the mayor's office, said last week that the city is in continued conversation with REI and is developing other location options to keep REI within Portland. It doesn't sound like that's going to happen. And yet the mayor's office is kind of going with, all right, we're going to try something. We got to get something out there from a political standpoint. We've got to be able to tell the people of Portland, hey, we really tried, but those guys, I mean, they were just, those guys are just, they're hard drivers of business. They want all this safety. And they said we had too much shoplifting going on in the store, whatever. It's mainly safe, right? I mean, it's kind of safe. It's, we're in the process of reimagining and rethinking public safety. And so, yeah, we're doing something. We're having continual meetings amongst ourselves talking about how it's just not all that safe right now. And what could we do to make it safer? And geez, these stores, they just keep dumping out on us, right? The city had been aware of REI's woes for months. Emails indicate that REI had complained about rampant crime and safety issues for months and had been seeking help from the city as far as back as July of 2022. When the retailer applied for a permit to install surveillance equipment on a public parking space outside of its stores. So this is not new stuff, but here's the deal. City leadership in Portland they can't control the situation that they've got out in front of them. They are unable at this point in time to really have much of an impact to the point where a store like REI is going to feel safe. That situation is not there. It's a no-go. It's a no-go, right? So, and anybody that's got an idea or a clue of how this works, it's going to take a lot of cleaning up of Portland for a store like REI to want to dip their toe back in the water of doing business there, because they've already been burned once, right? They just basically got pushed out. Hey, we can't make it in this environment with your public safety being so incredibly lacking at this point in time. So we got to take our company and our employees and our vendors and everybody else and our signs and our co-op memberships, and we're getting out of Dodge. So REI wanted to install a mobile surveillance system near the store's front doors off of Northwest Johnson and Kearney streets due to an increase in criminal activity. Interesting. Now, was there an increase in criminal activity and an increase in drug usage? Well, yeah, righty? But the outdoor retailers struggled to navigate the city's bureaucracy to get approval. Well, if it's unsafe and if you can't approve our safety situation remedies, we're gone. We're done. We're out of here. The crime is extremely high in the area, and we need to do more than what we are currently doing, as it's causing my team to feel severely unsafe in the store, on the property, and in the area. Erica Maiman, an asset protection manager for REI, wrote in an email to the Portland Bureau of Transportation last July, "I cannot move the store and need help with this." So it's not like these stores just close overnight. I mean, that's how the media makes it out to be. Well, without any warning whatsoever, the store located here has had its last day of business in the community after 42 straight years of happily servicing this area. But don't worry. Check us out online. Your store, not in your neighborhood, but online.com. Visit us there. Months later, in early November, REI appealed to the mayor's office for help in getting approval to install the surveillance system, records show. Although REI wanted the camera system near their front door, they got one on their loading dock instead. Oh, this is the bureaucracy. This is the level to which Portland has sunk when they can't get a simple request from a store through because of a permitting issue. Now, we understand you're not safe. However, and we know you want more surveillance at the front door, but yeah, rules are rules. And so, no can do. But off your loading dock, oh, hey, there you go. We'll let you set up there. Documents indicate that talks between the mayor's office and the outdoor retail giant intensified. They got more intense after what? After a car crashed through the glass front doors of REI's Pearl District store in late November. Little bit of early Christmas shopping did we have? Yep. Little gang activity, little retail theft going on at REI. REI asked to meet with the mayor to discuss the incident and other concerns regarding crime and safety in the area, according to emails. Okay, but what's the mayor going to do? He's already tried a bunch of stuff and it was basically just all words. So, the only option you've got is to leave town. When it comes down to that, it's the only option. It's not like you can, change public safety in a city overnight. And you can do it probably faster than slower, but it's not going to happen overnight. And if you're at a position as a store, as a management team, and you're at the end of a lease, you don't take on that new lease and go, well, cross our fingers. I hope everything works out. And I hope leadership can get a hold of these, public safety issues because, man, this is not good. But we're willing to take a risk on you, Portland. And, here's our rent checks for the next 10 years. There you go. Up front. We believe in you. It doesn't happen that way, does it? No. Stores just say, hey, help us out. Help us out. and go back and forth like that for a handful of times, for a year and a half, whatever, because you're getting close to the end of that lease. And then at some point in time, they just go, boop, done. No, we ain't coming back. We might consider coming back if some circumstances change, but more than likely, this is the last you're going to see of us in this location for a long time, because it's going to take you a long time to square away your criminal activity, your drug use, your homelessness, your poop on the sidewalk, that whole litany of stolen goods, stealing from our store. And this REI, there was a clearinghouse for stolen goods like a block away at an underpass, one of the major arterials, freeway system, something like that. There was a, clearinghouse of stolen goods, just super short walk. And it's because there's so much homelessness in Portland that any of the goods, like think of all the tents, think of all the epic tents that REI has that are really good quality. And there's some good quality tents. My REI quarter dome, or is a half dome, I've had it for years and it's still a great tent. It's not as waterproof as it used to be, but you get a little delamination on the nylon material, whatever it is, the rain fly, but it's still a great tent. And so if you think about you're going to be living outdoors, you're going to be doing a little bit of urban camping in Portland, and you need the right equipment, what store do you steal from? What store do you buy stolen goods from on the black market? REI, of course. You got to live in style. I mean, if you're going to be out there slinging the drugs, slinging the stolen goods, slinging the fentanyl, you got to look good too, right? Because otherwise, what are you even doing? The city's efforts ultimately proved insufficient. REI announced its decision to leave the city at the end of the lease next year. Roughly 12 hours after REI made its public announcement, Wheeler sent a letter to the retailer acknowledging that the city's efforts were not enough and that the city is willing to work with the company to find more creative solutions to address its immediate needs. Here's why you go down the creative solutions avenue. Because you ain't got nothing else. Your back's against a wall. Criminal activity has run rampant. It has literally just run train over you for multiple years. Just burp, 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 burp. Yeah. Right? So, hey, maybe we could come up with some creative solutions to address immediate needs, and maybe you guys won't move. Pretty please. God, fingers crossed they don't leave. Oh, they're gonna suck. There's yet another business goes. There's yet more tax revenue. There's another empty building. There's more graffiti. Great. All under my tenure, right? That's what Mayor Ted is thinking. Mayor Ted doesn't have a lot of options. He has zero ability at this point in time to come up with even creative solutions. So what does a creative solution look like? I don't know, because I haven't really seen any that really work. Because when you've got shoplifting, when you're not prosecuting people for shoplifting, and you're basically not arresting people for shoplifting, and even if you were, you don't have enough cops to do it, what kind of creativity within that mix is really going to get you anywhere? I don't think there is anyway. And that's why REI said, no, hard stance, we're gone, we're done. In his message to REI, the mayor outlined strategies he thinks could help the outdoor retailer minimize theft and other crime. Here, you guys do something. Oh, wait a minute. You're the store. That should be us doing something to help you stay in place, right? For one, the mayor requested that REI report all incidents to the Portland Police Bureau and to detain shoplifters. Well, what if that's not their policy? And to report all incidents to the Portland Police Bureau. Well, if you know nothing's going to happen, why are you going to spin your manager's wheels reporting yet another shoplifting incident if nothing's going to happen? Aren't you better off, just working on closing up shop, moving to a new location where that doesn't happen all day, every day, 365? Probably. Right? That's what you're probably going to do. And that's what REI did. I mean, REI is pretty woke. Just it is. I mean, think about it. It's an outdoor retail store from the Pacific Northwest, from Seattle. What exactly would you expect, right? What would you expect? And we're not talking conservative here, right? But even a woke corporation like REI, who supported Black Lives Matter like it was the greatest concept ever, until it's not, right? So the mayor also suggested REI reconsider policies that prohibit its security and staff from participating in prosecutions that are referred to the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office. If the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office had just a scooch of control over said crime in said county, things would be different. We wouldn't even be having this conversation, right? You just wouldn't, because it would be taken care of. You wouldn't have this issue of crime is so bad, safety is so lacking that we just literally have to up and move. So Wheeler also advised REI to communicate any physical security improvements it would like to implement at the store so that they can secure any desired permits. Wah, wah, wah. Nope, we're closing up store. I mean, the mayor's trying to do something, right? It's like Safer Summer PDX. The mayor has to be able to point at something and say, hey, I tried this. This is what we're doing. So the mayor's, after REI is already committed to basically being out of there, the mayor is saying, hey, report all the criminal activity. We'll give you a permit for whatever security you need. If there was a magic security device that made this all go away, short of doing something like Costco does, where you've got this traffic throughout the store. I mean, their stores are built to, eliminate a large portion of shoplifting because you have got one exit from every Costco. You've got more exits than that, but that's the exit that, customers are allowed to go through. You got to go through that 2 lanes. It's one open lane, but you got room for 2 carts, and you got a person standing on either side that looks at your stuff and checks it off. That's not exactly an environment that encourages shoplifting, does it? No. But stores aren't set up to be that way, right? You got a definite traffic flow for a Costco. Whereas in REI, multiple doors, and you don't have anybody standing at the door saying, hey, where's your receipt? Let's see your receipt. They don't have that built in to their security process. Even if they did, I kind of wonder how that would go in Portland, because people just, are going to book it out the front door. Hey, look at this epic tent I got. I got a 4-man, whatever. And, can't wait to get it up and try it out in the rain. Right. So, there's great demand for REI's product in a community like Portland, just not legally, because they're going to steal it. So there's that. And at a certain point, REI tried for multiple years to make a go of it. And, the city comes back and says, well, do this, this, and this. How about you just make the city safer? What about that? How about you just crack down on crime? What about just actually prosecuting criminals? What about that? Yeah. Now, maybe down the road, when Portland does some of those things, and I say maybe because I don't think Portland's up for the task of doing that right now. It doesn't appear like it. It doesn't appear like its residents are pissed off enough to the point where they're going, hey, we just lost REI. What else do you need to be made aware that this is going wildly sideways? What else do you need? Walmart leaves, REI leaves, and the list just goes on and on and on. Cracker Barrel, Stanford, BJ's, restaurants, just leaving by the droves. No, I don't think so. Yeah, nope. We're going to move on down to the next community. It's, suburb of Portland. It's way safer. That's what we're doing. And that's what all the big corporations are doing. And, another big topic right now is literally in Chicago, businesses packing up and leaving in droves because it is simply not safe. So there is nothing that you can substitute. There's no gimmick that you can do that a city can do to ensure that its streets are safe. You can't gimmick that. They're either safe and you've got crime under control, or you don't. And that's the situation you got in Portland. And I do not blame woke REI one bit for leaving. All right. That's it for me. Thanks so much for being here. As this story continues to develop, as REI comes back Now, not anytime soon. And so that is why you want to subscribe, hit that notification bell. So down the road, when we're talking about, hey, Portland's safer-ish, REI's coming back, you'll get notified. Thanks for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.